All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight. It's so great to see so many people interested in our great state of Idaho. Whoa! Hey, you guys all checked out that relocation presentation from last year, right? Well, guess what? A lot of things have changed since then. Let's talk about that next. Hey, Treasure Valley Dave here. And I know a lot of you have checked out that relocation presentation I did last year down in California. And I was really hoping to get down there again this year, but you might have heard that thing about the virus, right? Anyway, so that's kind of kept me out of California. And but there's a lot of things that have happened since then, and I wanted to bring you up to speed on what some of those changes are. One of the big ones is we've expanded the Treasure Valley Dave family. Well, no, I haven't had any more children. One was more than enough, thank you very much. But I have hired my child, Treasure Valley Kelly, and she is now my marketing and social media director. All these videos that you've been watching on YouTube, that's all her. And she does a great job of that, doesn't she? Absolutely. Another addition to the family is Treasure Valley Marine. She is our client care specialist. She's somebody that you're going to be talking with on the phone. She's going to be setting up appointments. She's been through the entire process. She moved up here, brought the whole family, and she's got a lot of insight to contribute to help out the Treasure Valley Dave team. One other very important member we have is Kelly Day. She does our transaction coordination. Basically what that means is that she makes sure that all the paperwork, all the signatures, all the appointments get set and met. And that's what she does. And we're so blessed to have her on board. And then of course me, but you already knew about me, right? Well, you know what? There's a lot of things that are the same from last time. We still have traffic. Our traffic is nothing like yours. The cost of living is roughly about the same. In 2017, I found some data on this. Our cost of living index score was about 92. And earlier this year, I've seen a couple different places where it's marked out between 93 and 96. So, roughly we're still about the same. And I guess that is 100 is like the national average or something like that. But not a whole lot of changes there. Another thing that certainly hasn't changed is that we still have great neighborly people up here. And I'll tell you a little secret is half of those people, those really great friendly people, those ones that let you in when you're driving down the freeway, they all came from California. Because you know why? They were Idahoans at heart. You know what I'm talking about. Another thing that hasn't changed is we have fantastic weather here. We have 4 distinct seasons. It gets warm in the summer, it gets cold in the winter, but not excessively so. And of course the spring and the falls are just absolutely fantastic. And also there's still great things to do here. Even with this virus shut down and stuff like that, there's places to go with the kids. Well, my friend just today is up snowboarding with his kids there at Bogus Basin. So there's plenty of stuff that you can do, you can get out. But we'll talk about that later. So some things that have changed, and this is a big one. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but housing prices have gone up. And why is that? Well, materials have gone up. You've probably seen that lumber has gone up through the roof if you've been to Home Depot to buy a stud or anything like that. But supply and demand, that's the big one. There's X amount of supply and there's more and more demand. And we keep trying to meet the demand by building more and more houses, but it's just a struggle to keep up. So prices are inching up somewhat. One of the ways that we gauge this is through our Keller Williams Market Dynamics. And this is a study that comes out every month. And I wanted to share with you guys that if you want a copy of your own every month, just let me know. I'll be glad to email that down to you. But some of the information I got from the latest one, which is October 2020, the Ada County average home price is $410,000. But the majority of homes are selling between the $250,000 and $350,000 range. So that's excluding, the multi-million dollar houses and stuff like that. And now the average price in Canyon County, which is to the west of Boise, a little bit more rural, a little bit more laid back, the average price is $286,000. And again, with most of them selling between 200 and 300. So when you see all this commotion about, oh my gosh, you guys got California prices, well, you tell me, is that what you're paying for a house is 250 to 350? Zillow says the average price for a house in the United States is 262, and that's as of October. So you can buy one here in the, say, Canyon County, Nampa, Caldwell, someplace for around 250 to 300. That's right there at the national average. So we don't have California prices. Some other economic things have been going on up here too. Low unemployment. So yes, we had the virus. You guys had the virus. That's affected people's jobs and livelihoods and things like that. And it's a terrible thing that had to happen like that. Our unemployment right now is at 6.1, an average for the Treasure Valley. And before the coronavirus, it was 2.4. So the national average right now is something like 7.1 or 7.2. And so we are lower, but another thing that's going on, businesses are hiring. I come to work and I go by at least 4 or 5 different help wanted signs. There's one place right over here that has a $500 hiring bonus, a big sign right out in front. You might have heard of Amazon. They're a little internet company. They just opened a warehouse here in Nampa. In October, they started hiring for the 2,000 employees. And Amazon has that minimum wage of $15, so that's pushing labor prices up throughout the entire valley. So people will be making more, and which is probably a good thing because housing prices are going up. Another thing that's changed is we still have historic low interest rates. And I know they've been low for a while now, but did you realize in January of 2019, the average interest rate was 4.5%? I mean, that's terrible when we look at it from what we have today, which is about 2.8%. So even though prices are going up, interest rates are lower. So maybe that will help people have an easier way of getting into a house. So another thing that's been changing up here, thank you guys very much, is that Idaho is becoming more conservative. You probably heard we had an election a couple of weeks ago, right? And the results of the election, I don't really want to get into that, but I do want to tell you that what our state Republican chairman said in the press, one thing that we've learned is we're a fast-growing state, and the people that choose to move to the state of Idaho, they're conservative and they vote Republican. And that was our chairman, Tom Luna. So what he's saying is that you people, California, New Jersey, Michigan, you're coming here and you're bringing those conservative values with you. And that is making Idaho even more conservative than it was. What struck me was the election map. It's, I hear a lot of people in California saying, well, I'm thinking about maybe moving to Arizona. That's a nice conservative place. But if you look at that election map, Arizona went blue. Just as blue as California, just as blue as Nevada. And don't even get me started on Oregon and Washington. Idaho, red. And according to Tom Luna, getting more red all the time thanks to you guys moving up here. And I know there's other places like Tennessee, which is firmly red, and Missouri, which is pretty reddish. I'll just kind of regress back to that thing about weather. They've got the humidity there. I don't know if you've ever lived in humidity before. If you haven't, it's something you might want to do some research on because it really can make your life miserable during those months of the summers. Another thing that has changed since we last talked is this virus going on. I'm not saying that the virus isn't true, and I just want to make sure that we all kind of like keep that in perspective. If you're a person that maybe has a compromised immunity system, or you're elderly, or you live with somebody that is, yeah, sure, take all those precautions. But what we've been seeing, at least looking from Idaho down to California, is like, what the heck are you guys thinking about? You got curfews because the virus only comes out after 10 o'clock. You can only have 6 people to your house for Thanksgiving because 7 is going to be, instant death for everybody, or the cops will come. It's just incredible. And then, so you do see the masks, quite a bit more so in Ada County, Meridian, Boise, places like that. here in Canyon County, we're a little bit more responsible for our own actions. And if you feel like wearing a mask because it protects you, or maybe it'll protect somebody you're with, you see people wearing them. Even today, we're back in this stage 2, whatever that means. I can go over to the grocery store, I can go to Walmart, and I can go in without a mask. They may ask me to put one on, and I'll just tell them no, and then I get to go on my way. So that's just kind of how we do it up here. The impact of the virus on businesses, well, we saw those unemployment numbers, and there are people out of work, having to pivot and find different types of work for them to do. So we're a resilient bunch. Like I said, with Amazon hiring 2,000 people, let's say you got fired from your job you've been at, and that was the work you love to do. But if you have to take care of your family, the Amazon job might not look too bad. And they're hiring 2,000 people. So we do have options up here. I'm not saying it's a panacea or anything like that, but we have really good options. And another one of those options that we have is our schooling. So I know the schools sometimes are like part-time, they can come in person, part-time they have to be at home getting trained by the parents. Some schools, private schools, charter schools, they seem to work a little different. I know we have some school districts that are hemorrhaging students to the point where they're starting to get a little worried about it, that parents might be making like a permanent decision to homeschool their kids or send them to private schools, or even those charter schools. But the mainstream schools up here are getting a little worried that maybe we've, found some better way of training our kids and educating them. But overall, Treasure Valley Kelly, she went to public school here in Idaho. She went to public school in California, and I can tell you that she talks about the big differences between those two. So even if you get up here and go to public school, it's still going to be light years ahead of what you've been experiencing in California. So what about the impact on relocation? Well, maybe one of the biggest impacts is housing availability. Like I said, about a third of our houses that we have out there are new construction. And there are issues getting materials in here to the builders, and that's delayed some construction of some homes. It's happened to many of my clients. Another impact the virus might be having is on showings. Basically, the only impact that that's had for us here is that sometimes they'll ask you to, put on hand sanitizer, wear your mask if you're going through a house that's maybe occupied by some people that are in that high-risk group. Another impact, and I've heard this from some of my California people, is that when they go back, there's this quarantine period. So I'm not sure how all that works, if it only happens if you're flying back, if you're driving back, if you can sneak in under the radar. I'm not sure how that's going to work out for you. And the impact on job searches, I don't really think that's going to be an impact here. Employers, they really like you to be here to start with, or maybe they will do Zoom interviews, but they want to know that you're really serious about coming and not just having a pipe dream about it. So maybe if you're already under the process of buying a house here or renting or something like that, the employers will be much more open to hiring you without taking that risk that you might change your mind. So what to do about all this? Well, if you're ready to move now, within the next 6 to 12 months, consider new construction. And why do I say that? Well, because if you still have things to do, back home, sell your house or get the kid out of school or retire, something like that, then you can come up here with new construction, lock in today's price, and we don't close on it for 6 to 12 months. You don't start making payments if you're going to have a mortgage for 6 to 12 months, 7 to 13 months, something like that. If you have a year or so to go, you might consider buying now and then renting that house out. I work with several property managers that do just exactly that. They property manage the house for people that live out of state. And with our rental market right now is so tight, it's 2.5 vacancy rate, and the normal is about 7. And so let's say that you do want to buy that house now and you're not going to be up here for a couple of years. The house that you're buying doesn't have to be your forever home. It can be your I'm moving my money out of California home. And then when you do get up here, maybe you can keep the house and continue to rent it out and enjoy that rental income that's coming in. Or maybe you could sell it at that point at that much higher appreciation and then roll that money over into your forever house. So ready to move, but you're not ready to buy right now. So maybe you were going to move up here and then rent for a while. And there are people that absolutely need to do that, and that's absolutely fine. I would suggest you try to go for a short-term lease on that. I've known people that have come up here and say, for instance, get a 6-month lease. They find their house in 3. We close by month 4. And they still have 2 more months left on their rental. And some of the reasons that people do have to move up here and rent is because they need to get their credit to look a little bit better, or they need to make sure their job situation works out just fine. And I can understand that too. You want to make sure that buying a house isn't creating a stress upon you. It's supposed to be a blessing and not a hindrance. There is another situation too. I hear this somewhat frequently, is that people say, well, I just want to move up there, rent for a while and get to know the area. And to be honest, that's exactly what we did back in 2013, but things were different then. We didn't have this rapidly accelerating appreciation going on. What I would suggest, if it could work out for you at all, is to take a week or two, come up here, get an Airbnb, rent a car, fly in, whatever it takes, and then just purposely go out and look at the different areas, get out, talk with people, and then we'll spend some time going out to look for your ideal home, and then lock that down and get that under contract. So why is that ideal? Well, because let's say you come up here and rent for 6 months, average appreciation going on right now in Canyon County or even Ada County is like 1.5%. So if you're looking at a $300,000 house, that house is going up about $4,500 every single month. So you got 6 months of that $4,500. That's higher math, which I'm not real good at. And then you have the money that you're throwing down the rat hole on rent, plus the hassle of moving twice, and maybe you put a bunch of stuff in storage too. So it can really add up to $30,000, $40,000 that you could have saved by just being a little bit more focused at the beginning of your trip. What if you're ready right now? Well, let's put your plan together. Let's get your fact-finding trip underway. Work on getting your job here, or maybe you're going to retire. Congratulations. And do you have a house to sell there? That's something else that we'll have to throw into the mix. And then get pre-approved with the lender. The buying process, is that different today? Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of the same, but it's just magnified in certain ways. There is so much more demand and less supply, and we're seeing multiple offers on just about any existing home out there. And when I say multiple offers, it's like, let's say it's 300,000. You're going to get people coming in offering 310, 325, 350, and that is not out of the norm. A couple things about that. If you come in and offer like 50,000 over, you need to be prepared to pay that amount in cash if the appraisal doesn't come in to where your price was. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's not monopoly money up here, but sometimes it feels like it the way things are moving all over the place. Another important thing that a seller is going to be looking at when he's considering all these offers is contingencies. So what's that? It's like if you still have a house to sell down in California, the seller up here is going to say, you know what, move along, we'll go with somebody else. Why? Because there's so much more risk. Yours isn't even on the market yet. Fast forward, let's say you do have a house in California, it's on the market, it's under contract with a well-qualified buyer, and it's been through the inspection period. Now your contingency isn't as big a red flag as it was. For new construction, we're not really seeing bidding wars as such like we are with existing, but it's availability. So I've had many people that it's like, yeah, this is the house I want. Yeah, this is the neighborhood. Yes, this is the lot. The builder's not releasing that lot for another 6 weeks or next spring or something like that. So you can't even get that tied up under contract, which means if you have to wait 6 weeks or 6 months for that lot to be released by the builder, prices are going to continue to go up. You're not locked in just because you say, yeah, that's the one I want. You have to actually get under contract. So new construction is great, but there are issues with that as well. So the seller has gone ahead and picked your offer. Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations. But so what does that mean for you right now? Well, then we need to start getting everything ready. If you're still selling your house, let's get that sold. Maybe you need to get that priced right to get more people out there. Get with your lender. Make sure the lender's got everything that they need to get you through underwriting. A very, very important thing is if you're selling your house down there and buying up here, let's coordinate those closings. That means I need to work very much hand in glove with your agent down there to make sure that we get the timing right, so you're not going to be homeless for a couple weeks or a month or whatever between closing on your house down there and up here. I like to do it so there's like 1 day difference, enough time for you to drive up here with the U-Haul or whatever. Speaking of U-Haul, you need to figure out how you're going to get your stuff up here. I hear these stories all the time that the moving truck prices are just through the roof. People are driving a couple states away to pick up a U-Haul to bring back to, say, California to bring their stuff up here. And I do have some people that have luck with different options, so get with the Treasure Valley Dave team here and we can tell you what some of the recent success stories of our clients are. And then also go ahead and nail down that job. If you're using that job for you're getting your loan, getting your mortgage, you want to make sure that you get that letter from the employer over to the lender. I think different lenders have different things on that, but the one that I use is like if you have a job offer with the price in there of your salary and a start date no later than, say, 30 days after you close, then that's going to be absolutely fine for the underwriters. So it's not like you have to be up here and be working before you can get a house. So what can the Treasure Valley Dave team help you with? Well, as far as your fact-finding trip goes, well, really, there are two different kinds of fact-finding trips. One is coming up here, maybe the first time, maybe it's your wife's first time, getting to know the area, driving around the countryside, the little towns, downtown Boise. And then the other fact-finding trip is, coming up here to find where you're going to live. Where is your house going to be? Is it 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-3-car garage? Very specific. Now, sometimes this happens all in one trip, but usually it's the first trip comes first, the second trip comes second, and then it's just a natural progression of things. One of the things that we will be able to help you do here at the Treasure Valley Dave team is give you suggestions on places to go check out. If you have kids that love to skateboard, we'll go over to a skateboard park and just let them have some fun. Maybe you want to go check out some of the wilderness or the green belt and just get some walking in. We will also throw you in the car, drive around, get to know the area, answer your questions about whatever it is that comes up. And we're going to also help you find your home. Maybe, we'll just pull up some. I know you're not ready to buy yet, but we'll just go out and take a look to see what your money would buy. Another great thing about the Treasure Valley Dave team is we all have that experience of living somewhere else and moving here. And we can share those from the perspective of young Kelly, Treasure Valley Kelly, or not quite as young Treasure Valley Marine or old timer Treasure Valley Dave. And we'd be glad to answer all those questions and share our experiences with you. Another great thing the Treasure Valley Dave team does is we're all into videos. If you need us to go out and look at a house, you're way down there in California, right? We'll get our camera crew, we'll go tour a house, and we'll find out not so much if that's the right one for you, but we're gonna be looking for things that makes that the wrong one for you. So we're just gonna winnow away at the possibilities until the perfect one is left. Also, maybe you wanna know about the neighborhoods. You've been driving around on the Google Street View, blah, blah, blah. Let us know. We'll go drive around the neighborhood with our video camera. We'll walk the neighborhood. You'll get an idea of, is it a busy area? Is it a quiet area? Are there parks nearby? Stuff that Google's not going to show you. Treasure Valley Dave team absolutely will. There's some of those things that have changed from last time. We do have a little bit more traffic. We do have more jobs, and we are more conservative. The cost of housing has gone up a little bit, but it's still very much in line with the national average. We don't have those California crazy prices. And my suggestion to you is if money's an issue at all, and maybe for some people it's not, I haven't met them yet, but move up here sooner rather than later because prices are going up. Some of those things that haven't changed and probably never will are great, friendly, neighborly people. The great weather that we have, those 4 distinct seasons that we all just love, it always gives us a sense of freshness every time one comes around. And the great opportunities. It's not just, you're moving up here. You're changing your entire family tree. And the beautiful thing about being up here is there's so many opportunities that, let's say your kids graduate school, they can still live and work and raise their families near you. I know that's not always possible in many places in, say, California, but that is possible up here. If you found this video great, interesting, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, right? And as always, this is Treasure Valley Dave for the Treasure Valley Dave team, always looking forward to helping you get home.